trying out new intros.
Yeah, I see that.
I want to try, see how that works. So tell me what you thought of that one. It's Elliott and Jose here on CCW TV. Thanks for joining us. Fantastic Four wowed us.
Boy, did it ever.
Underground moved us, but in a good way.
In a good way, not like a Bendis way.
And
it's only fitting that we do our last review with the ultimate comic book.
Ultimate comic out there that has been discussed on the blog this past week. So if you haven't been checking out the blog, you're missing out some other conversations too. All the conversations don't just go on here on the CCW TV board.
Sometimes they end on the blog, and sometimes they begin on the blog.
There we go. Detective Comics numero 857. Featuring Batwoman. Now, what was the conversation that went on the blog about this book?
I don't know, but okay. I'm sure you're going to tell us.
I'm going to tell it. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about this book itself.
Oh, okay.
This is the concluding chapter of the opening story arc.
Yeah, how about that? Only 4 parts, too. That's nice.
Yeah, 4 parts, and wow, the story actually, ended. There was, resolution to it.
How about that?
Things...
Fucking amazing.
Things, we got a story arc. Friends became enemies. Enemies became friends. The protagonist came out at the end, a little richer for the experience. Doing Stewie there, but not very well.
Not at all.
Greg Rucka and J.H. Williams showing us really how high-minded comic books can work. And there was this big twist at the end with the character of Alice. What a major part of her true nature that comes out. And we're not going to spoil it here. Let's just say that after that twist at the end, we now have the Joker to Batwoman's Batman. I mean, she now has her opposite, and it's no coincidence that on the cover, J.H. Williams uses that motif.
Well, he uses it throughout the comic.
Uses it throughout the book too, which
right.
goes to show that they're teasing with it what the character is and what the relationship between Batwoman and Alice is.
She almost literally is her yin to her yang.
Yin to her yang. Her Brian to her Stewie. An issue with action in it.
Tons of action.
Who would think that J.H. Williams could do action scenes, and yet he does. This book has some holy shit moments in it, too. Everything comes together nicely. Greg Rucka, and there was a funny thing about this, another thing that I commented to Jose before we recorded this. It's getting it, Greg Rucka can handle that sort of super surreal type imagery and dialogue that you normally just see in a Grant Morrison book. Mm-hmm. This issue felt a lot like the conclusion of that first Batman and Robin story arc with Pig. Mm-hmm. Although it was easier to follow Alice here than the crazy dialogue that Pig was using. What can I say that I haven't said about this book before? It's smartly written. The characters are great. The art is gorgeous. Why you wouldn't want to read this book, I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
I really don't. I mean, I know an idea has been floated around there that I wanted to talk about. But because if that's the reason why fanboys don't want to read Batwoman, I would be sorely, sorely disappointed in them.
Even more disappointed than I already am in them? I think that's impossible.
Yeah, can I tell you, and I'm going to say this is me back to the beginning, saying I'm just not going to filter my opinions anymore.
Good for you. You finally got there,
There you go. If you are not reading Batwoman because you take offense to her being a lesbian, and you feel that DC is trying to force a lesbian hero on you, make you read a lesbian hero, and by that, forcing you to accept the lifestyle of homosexuals, you are by far, undeniably, unequivocally, and you just cannot argue this with me, you're an idiot. You're an ignoramus, and really, you should not reproduce. You really shouldn't. I mean, if you know.
But those are usually the people who end up having like 12 kids.
Yeah, I know. You know. When I read that, was it Johnny Horror or Locust Motors?
Johnny Horror
said that the guy at their comic shop said that people aren't buying it because they feel that DC's shoving a lesbian hero down their throats.
He had a lot of people taking it off their club because they felt that DC was shoving a lesbian superhero down their throat.
You're an idiot, quite simply. If you're one of those people who stopped buying the book because of that, IDIOT. Sorry, but that's just science.
Yeah. Those are the same people who don't like science.
Who don't like science, you know, who believe the world was created in 10,000 years, you know.
Wasn't it 3,000?
3 or 7,000, I forget.
Either way.
Because Gad begat Simon, and Simon begat Tad, and Tad begat so-and-so.
Regardless, you should be reading this book. I don't. You shouldn't have any. You might say, well, actually, my question was to people on the blog, who was reading it, why they were reading it, and if they weren't reading it, why weren't they reading it? 90%. I have to say that I'm quite proud of this. Not like 90% of the people. I think I probably got like 30 comments. Said that they read it and they love it, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone's going to get on the board and say that they don't read it because they don't like lesbian heroes, because they know they're going to get blasted for it. Although, you know, Pobra, I'm going to give you props for admitting to reading Old Man Logan and enjoying it. I tell you, Pobra, every time. Put yourself out there, just waiting for your head to get lopped off, and, you know, we'll take it easy.
No, Pobra came out and said that he felt bad for enjoying it.
Yeah, but he did. And I'm going to tell you, if
I got to respect that.
You got to respect that someone's willing to go out there, get up there and say that they enjoyed it, you know. But in either case, and don't get me wrong, if you read...
There's actually quite a few people who said that they enjoyed it.
Yeah. If you read Batwoman, and the reason you don't like it is because you're not into the artwork, or you don't care for Greg Rucka's writing, or, you know what, the book is just not your thing. Hey, you know what? I can respect that.
Right.
But if it's because you believe that you're being told that you have to enjoy a lesbian superhero, that's the reason you're rejecting it, then that's just plain dumb. It's just plain ignorant. Because comic books...
And I hate to break it to you, but the Question character is a lesbian too, so...
Oh, Renee Montoya's gay?
Isn't she?
I did not know that.
I think that she is, because
wait a minute, you're right. She was...
In 52, her and Kate Kane had a thing going.
They had a thing going,
yeah.
That's true. And the last issue, and then you referenced it on the blog, when she shows up at the ball in her tuxedo, and then she meets the head of the special crimes unit, Gotham SCU, who's also in a tuxedo. I loved that scene. I thought that was a great scene. I love the line where it's the old, it's a good thing that when you wear a tux, you don't have to go home. When someone else shows up wearing the same tux as you, you don't have to go home and change. That was the most clever line I'd read. It was like a laugh out loud moment for me. So to me, that's the thing that you can do with a character like this.
Yeah, and to go even further, one of the things that I said on the blog is that in no way is DC promoting this or making it like a huge thing, like a gay character has their own book. DC could have easily promoted it that way, just for shock value, and just to get the word out there, but they're not. Greg Rucka is writing the story is like I said on the blog, it's just it's done with full respect for the character, and
it's not done gratuitously.
Exactly, there is nothing gratuitous about the character at all, and I love that.
Her homosexuality has as much to do about her character as Superman's heterosexuality. Mm-hmm. You know it. There are times when it's shown, but it doesn't define the character. And if anything, what it does with this character is it gives her an added dimension. Mm-hmm. It gives her really added dimension. So, The majority of folks who watch the show, I know you're not that close-minded. So this is out. I'm shooting.
No,
this
that's
out.
another thing that I was getting at is the majority of people who watch and read our blog. It's actually really, really cool that they love this book.
Yeah, because it's a really good book.
Yeah.
If it, quite frankly, if this was a book that was written about a lesbian hero, just for the very fact that that was going to be the thing about her, that she's lesbian, I would have been offended by that.
Yeah.
I would have been offended by that. But it's not that. So with respect to those who have their own opinions on homosexuality, this is a great book. When we come back, a not too unrelated topic in Last Rants. We hope to see you then.